speeches and panelists, and it's been extremely interesting and very thought-provoking. I want to talk a little bit. My own background is in computer science. I'm part of the American academic establishment. I also have experience starting up a company, which is now in the S&P 500 called Akamai. And I want to talk a little bit about education and how it links to innovation. We've been talking about the startup economy and startup India, and I would like to talk a little bit about how it works in the US and whether we can actually make something like that happen here in India. I come from the state of Massachusetts, and I've been thinking, what is it that makes Massachusetts what it is? Massachusetts has no natural resources at all. It's not possible to do agriculture there because it's mostly rocky. It really is cold most of the time. In fact, we just escaped a snowstorm to come here. And I was wondering, why is it that Massachusetts is very prosperous? It's one of the most prosperous states in the U.S. And the reason really is education. People in Massachusetts know that education is really what makes the society. And the link between education, especially higher education, and innovation. A lot of the companies you see, the big companies, you see really started out from universities. In my own experience with Akamai, has been one of doing research in academia and spinning that out as a company. And there's a lot of links between academia and industry. And that's one of the things that we don't have here quite as much, where you can actually invent new things and spin that out into industry that can in turn employ a lot of people. I think a lot of people here spoke about the demand as having two different aspects to it. It could either be a positive dividend or it could be a negative one. And the difference between those two is really whether we can make education successful here, especially higher education. Both the quantity of it, we all know that education has to exist in large quantities here. Only 1 in 7 people in India really go on and do higher education, so that's a really small number. But it's not just the quantity of it, it's also the quality of it. The way we teach people here also needs to change. It shouldn't be so exam-oriented, it should be more about innovation and tinkering. And whenever people ask, why is the economy in Massachusetts or the U.S. more successful, it's really a nation of tinkerers. They're willing to tinker with things. Education is not just something you learn, but you also you innovate and create new knowledge. They're not afraid of failing. So there are lots of cultural aspects of education that we need to inculcate here as well. People are not afraid to try out their ideas even if it fails, and that's really part of what makes the innovation work. And one of the reasons I came here is to sort of understand how NRIs can help in this effort of education, higher education specifically, and also changing the culture of education to make it more innovative rather than exam-oriented, and how to really make that link between education and creating knowledge and really translating that into the workforce. And that link, I think, is something very important to investigate. And if you think about our young people, there are as many young people here as there are people in the United States in total. And the question is, who's going to employ them? If you think IT is going to employ them, that's not correct, because IT can only employ a really small fraction of the 250 million people in the workforce. So most of these people will have to be employed in things that we haven't yet invented, and things that we don't know yet what they would be. And that's one of the reasons why we need to really have an innovative education system. And I would love to meet people who actually have sort of expertise on the Indian side of things. And as a representative of the American academia, I would like to actually interface with them and see how we as NRIs can help in this effort.
This has been a problem in our country there has been enormous shortfall in terms of, in fact, there has been none as far as the interface between academia and industry and vice versa. And I'll even go a step further in saying that a very large part of sometimes which we find, where we find there are shortfalls in the delivery with the current bureaucracy is also largely for this reason, that there isn't any interface between the bureaucracy and the industry. You know, we need to co-opt domain experts, and sometimes it is done. I remember even within the bureaucracy, there are times when we co-opt people from outside, we get some domain experts, but it has been very marginal. I mean, I can only think of very few names in the last 10 years it may have happened. And like you saying, in Massachusetts, I've seen it, in University of Chicago, I've seen it in a few more universities in the US. Maybe it's a routine thing to have that kind of interface. Here you will have a very senior professor talking about industry in the university, but he never has an opportunity to spend even 5 minutes in any traditional industry or even how industry really functions. And similarly, even amongst the bureaucracy, we can have Joint Secretary and Ministry of Industry. You'll probably go and retire as Secretary of Commerce or something. But in his whole lifetime, I wonder if he spent even a day in actually trying to figure out as to how industry is set up and really run. So I think these are some of the issues. I'm sure even the current government is seized of this problem, and in days to come, we need to co-opt more and more domain experts. We need to have greater interface between many institutions so that I think it will only lead to greater productivity. It will lead to, I think, more efficiency, and it lead to, I think, greater knowledge of each other's area of domain. Thank you.
Mr. Bhattacharya would also like to reply to this question, please.
Thank you very much. This is a question very close to my heart, and I've been, itching to raise this a little bit. It means the focus of India's engagement with the NRI community has for a long time been on financial capital, but NRIs also hold a lot of intellectual capital, and that is something that we have not leveraged sufficiently. And particularly the culture of our country is still not geared towards development of new knowledge and then taking new knowledge onto new products which can really kind of catapult us into a substantially higher growth path, and that is something which has been lacking. Now, things have been happening in the recent past, and one area where I notice quite a bit of things happening is that there is a greater inclination to try and engage the NRI community into sharing of knowledge, or teaching and stuff like that in universities here. That is only one part of the story. Where we really need to take this on is in creation of new knowledge, and then creating products which using that new knowledge. And that is where I think there is a lot that NRIs can do. And I think this is something where a lot of additional impetus will be very useful in my view, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bhattacharya. Now I would request Dr. Nandini Sen, Research Scholar from Frankfurt University, Germany. Dr. Nandini Sen.
Thank you. I have already asked my question to the eminent concerned person, and he has already given me a very beautiful answer. My question was related to elderly people's welfare. So through my dissertation, I have observed that in India, the work has begun for the welfare of the elderly people. But my dream is something a bit larger. So whatever I have learned in Scotland, in my university, both in St. Andrews and Frankfurt University. I really wish to implement those knowledge and those skills if I can, if I get that opportunity. If we can build up some of the, some very good welfare homes for elderly people, and also daycare centers. That is not very popular in India, but I have some experiences in both in Scotland and in other parts that daycare centers for elderly people can be very successful and can be very can create real effective impact for the lives of the elderly people. And I really want to touch that point that if we can manage to build up some elderly people's homes for the upper income groups, then some profit or the profits from these welfare homes can be distributed and can be invested for the lower income group elderly people. So that is my dream, and my question was how to implement this dream through the schemes which are coming in the future Indian perspective. So thank you.
I think, Nandini, Mr. Ambolak has already given the answer. And this is a very serious concern in India also, these elderly homes. And many are coming up in the vicinities of NCRs, and they are very competent. And as a matter of fact, mostly are for the parents of NRIs who cannot be here, and their parents have to be looked after, and there's no one to look after them. And they are of international standards, they are quite competitive rates, and they are being looked after very well. They have in-house hospitalities, nursing homes, and they have come up quite well. So India is also progressing, and not only NRI parents, many other parents are also being sent there whose children are quite, shuffling jobs from here to there. So it is a matter of concern because parents they are the utmost priority of every individual. Next, I would like to call Dr. Jatinder.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Singh and his family for having the foresight to develop the NRI Forum and to run it for 35 years. I think that's quite incredible. Kudos. Sotheby's International Realty is one of the largest real estate companies in the world. We take that middle part of our name very seriously, international. We're currently in 63 countries. We have 835 offices and 18,000 brokers. We entered India about a year ago. India is a very interesting market. It's totally unregulated in the real estate sector. So one of the advantages that we bring is that we're able to bring transparency and integrity to a market that has very little at the moment. What we're able to do is to transact real estate in India the same way we do in the countries that you come from, whether it be New Zealand, United States, Great Britain, or wherever you're from. One of the other things we do as well is that we're very technologically savvy. It was interesting to hear about the e-commerce platform. We're the only real estate company that actually you can search our entire inventory on your iPhone or on your Android. And that's very important because these days 90% of all property searches start on either an iPad or an iPhone. So these are some of the things that we've been doing. But actually I feel a bit of a fraud standing here because I have a confession to make. Before the Sotheby's International Realty brand opened in India, I hadn't a clue what an NRI was. I never heard of it, not at all, completely clueless. The only good news is the rest of our company were also the same. We had no idea what an NRI was. So that's where we were. The good news is, of course, is that we have thousands of Indian clients. But from our point of view, an Indian client was a domestic client. It was an Indian in America buying an American product. It was somebody, an Indian in New Zealand, buying a New Zealand property from us. So we had no idea at all. It was only when we opened up here and started to do the pre-planning that we came across this very diverse and very large market called the NIR market. We quickly decided to focus on this diverse global group and figured out a way to service it with our own global network. Sotheby's International Realty, fortunately, covers just about every NIR market in the world. So we have boots on the ground, which helps a lot. And so we're ideally placed to service this market with our legendary white glove service. So how did we start actually figuring out and actually taking into action this way of servicing this market? Well, what we did is we established, to start with, what we called an NRI desk in London, which we saw as one of our low-hanging fruit items. We took one of our Indian colleagues and placed him in the London office of Sotheby's International Realty. And in the 9 months since we've done that, we've closed over 30 transactions for over a total of $50 million US. So it's been very, very successful for us. In 2016, the goal is to open a similar desk in Dubai, in the United States of America, Singapore, and also in Australia / New Zealand. All very big NRI markets and ones which we can service very, very well. To give some idea of the support that Sotheby's International Realty are giving to the NRI market, this week we will have 15 of our international affiliates coming here to India to learn about the NRI market. We have companies coming from New Zealand, from Australia, from Hong Kong, Dubai, London, Spain, Italy. In the United States, we've got companies coming in from New York, San Francisco, San Diego, Miami, Canada. That shows you the support and the way that our company is taking seriously the needs of this diverse group. And what I'd like to do is just hand over to one of my colleagues, Brett Dickinson, who is from Los Angeles, just talk a little bit about what he's doing as regards the NRIs. Brett?
There we go. Most of the people here are looking for investors in India because most of the people in the room are living in other countries, and a lot of the panel is speaking out the benefits of living in India. So what we've done in San Diego and Los Angeles is what we've done is we've reached out to some of the Sotheby's offices that we have found that have been visionary. And one of the offices that we started with was one in Beijing because we felt that China was the up-and-coming market, especially with our West Coast. And what we found is that our market in the last 3 years, we've gone from doing no business with China in San Diego, and well, actually they were doing a lot of business in LA and San Francisco, but not so much in San Diego. And now that represents 20 to 30% of our business because we set up what's called the Asian desk. And what has happened here is Amit and Ashwan, who have opened the offices here in Delhi from Sotheby's, are also visionaries. And what Paul is in the business of doing is he's in the business of getting us to network as a group. So what happens is in San Diego or in Los Angeles or San Francisco, and I speak mainly about California because that's kind of my general area, there are so many Indian owners of real estate educated, who are well off, or doing extremely well. And when we met with Amit and Ashwan, when they came to our cities, they spoke to us about the opportunity here in India. And what we're finding is that they give us newsletters, they give us information, and what we're able to do is actually network, and we're able to actually facilitate transactions between the different offices in the different cities. And what is occurring is what Paul was talking about is happening in London, is that the office here thought, well, okay, we have a great number of clients here. Let's see if they're interested in investing in London. We'll set up a desk there, which is not unlike what we did in San Diego, in Los Angeles, you know, in Seattle, and many of the other markets. And what happened is it facilitates the investment in whatever city is of your interest. And Sotheby's, with their offices all over the world, actually has an internal search engine for properties from any part of the world. So our company, our brand, is really always looking for these visionary places and where the upcoming markets are coming from. And one of the places we really think is we're extremely bullish on India, which actually in turn supports all of the ideas that have been represented here today as far as investing in India. But one of the things that for a lot of the investors coming from around the world that aren't Indian, it's very difficult for them to invest in this country. So all of you that are here have a big advantage, and that you can catch a market that we believe is really rising. So from that point of view, we're here networking with the company here. We're interested in helping any of you, whichever city you're from, because Sotheby's has targeted and has put locations in the major cities, and it just so happens they are NRI cities. So there's a direct link between all of those cities and our company. And we'll be here the rest of the week. If anyone is interested, you could contact the local company, which is just around the corner, and that would be North India Sotheby's International Realty. And then in turn, they can put you in connection with whatever city you're in or where you're from, as well as they can help you with real estate here and give you that white glove first class service. Thank you very much for your time.
Jatinder Singh, President, U.S. India Business Forum, United States of America. Rakesh Sharma, National President, Bharatiya Modi Army, Canada. He is the executive member of the Hindu Mission of Canada, convener of BJP, and founder, president, and chairman of ICO Unity Parade. Rakesh Sharma.
Namaskar. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm proud to be here, and thank you for NRI Welfare Society of India. I'm grateful to be here with you. And many years working for Indian community in Canada, I always dream to have a better relation with India and Canada and how we can progress. I'm working since many years with all the prime ministers, previous prime minister, and honorable our prime minister Justin Trudeau. He's a great, young, very dynamic leader, and he wants to work with India very closely. And we dream to work with different technologies, bring investments in India, make in India Modi ji's the dream, and would like to work together with India. And thank you very much for giving me a time. And I worked so many years for India, our community there in Canada, and I will work in the future very hard how we can work together for the progress of this country and Canada. And God bless. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rakeshji. That should be the spirit behind every Indian, wherever he is, in any part of the world. Mr. Raj Tiwari, President and Founder, Reinventing America Today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm not going to take much time. I know after lunch it is too many speeches, too many, the jargons people are using. So I'm going to be very brief, I promise you. So first of all, thank you very much for NRI Welfare of India continuing this legacy from 35 years. And thank you very much, Mr. Gurveer Singh and Mr. Deepak Singh, for continuing this legacy, and all the leaders from the government of authorities and government of India. Thank you very much. So Mr. Singh, our CBI director, I think he stepped out. So he was asking the one thing that we proud of you guys, NRIs. I'm not sure that you proud of us, but definitely I want to say that yes, we proud of you guys as well. Because you guys are the pillar. Whatever we have learned from you guys. So thank you very much for guiding us. And definitely be proud of you, Mr. Kohli, Mr. Singh, Mr. Shakil sitting here, and all of you guys. Yes, you guys are the pillar. So thank you very much. So just to not to take much time, a little bit intro about myself. I am Rajiv Raj Tiwari, and I'm just like traveling across the globe from last 20 years. So I've worked pretty much in 6 continents and 20 countries. Right now I'm settled down in New Jersey. So one of the great initiatives which I drive is called Reinventing America Today. So this is one of my passion, which is helping America's economy and bringing jobs back to the United States and generating more jobs. That's one of the area. But one of the key component which is I'm very much passionate about, and in last all of the talk, there was a very common theme which everyone talked about. That was the transformation and innovation. Yes, if you take the gist of every talk which happened a few minutes ago, and my friend from all over the world, they were talking about whether it's a health, whether it's a energy. Mr. Kohli talked about the solar energy. That's all about the innovation. That's all about the transformation. So not only things doing differently, innovatively, but the transformation is needed in every industry. Whether it's e-commerce, one of my friends was talking about the delivery guy, that is nothing but the innovation. That is nothing but the transformation. Because whatever we have done until now with the legacy, that's not going to work. Because the world is very competitive, world is changing now, so we have to change every minute, every seconds. And we are very good. We all Indians are very good, think innovatively. That's why we are leading the world, we are guiding the world. So I'm not going to, as I said, I'm not going to take much time. And one of the area which I'm talking about, my friend from the Scotland sitting next to me, Mr. Bhattacharya, touched upon that. And I'm also working with a lot of Indian institutions here and in the United States, talking about how we can change the education system here. Because earlier, whatever we have studied until now when I was in the school here, that's not useful for me in my day-to-day work. So how we can transfer, how we can change our education system, which can take our coming generation to the next level. So I'm working very closely in the US with the education department. I'm working with a couple of the education institution here, that how we can change the way we are thinking now and we are looking at the education. And I'm very closely partnering back home here. So just want to say one thing that again, thank you very much for recognizing my all efforts and giving me this award, all the panel here. And this award is giving me a lot of motivation. And just want to mention one thing, that we Indians are the best. I'm not saying that we all Indians are sitting here, but I really mean to it, And what I'm requesting to all of you guys, all of the brains sitting here, coming from the different part of the world, until now I was talking about the Reinventing America. I want to take this to the global level. I want all of your help, and I'm changing image in the US that we are not the techie guy. We are not just only the IT guy. We are the leader. We are the pioneer for this world. And I want to prove this with your help. Thank you very much. And, as Mr. Bhattacharya said, NRIs is seen as just investing money in India, but I think we have a lot more to contribute than the money. Of course, that the money is the one thing which you can contribute, but all of your global exposure, which we have learned over a period of time. So come together, give back to your home, and take India to the next level. And only the last thing I want to say, it's a very old saying that, "Ek patthar dambar ko uchhal kar to dekho yaro, surak to asma mein bhi ho sakta hai." So everyone come together, and we will win this war. Thank you very much. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you, Raj. Mr. Vikas Malhotra, Director, NRI Advisory Council. Srivastav.
Very good afternoon. Like every Indian person in India having some problem with income tax, same in the case of the NRIs and PIO. We have circulated a various issue related to the income tax, NRIs and basic issues, and I think everybody got it. So if you gone through that, if you got any specific problem and that issue, you can ask or send email to the NRI society so we can sort it out. Whatever the issues are basically NRI and related to Indian income tax has been covered in this chapter. Thank you very much.
Akhil ji, आपने literature distribute करवा दिया?
हाँ जी, हो गया.
So there's literature lying on your tables. Any taxation policies or anything which you are pondering over your taxation reliefs or any issues to do with any taxes, you can contact Mr. Akhil. He's a part of the organization itself. Thank you, Mr. Akhil. Thank you. Now I call upon Mr. Komal Singh from Guyana. Mr. Komal Singh.
Honorable members of the NRI group, invited guests. My name is Kamal Singh and I'm from Guyana. Unlike many of you who sits in this room here today, I happen to be a fourth-generation Indian from India. Our foreparents came to Guyana as indentured labor in 1838 to work on the plantation along with slave out of Africa. We actually gained independence in the year 1966. Today we are proud to be Indians of Guyana, to partner with every single race, religion, government, and NGOs in Guyana. To fly the flag of India high, we refer to India as Bharat Desh. The national anthem that you guys sang earlier is part of our religious ceremony that we have from day to day in Guyana. We still maintain the rich heritage that was brought by our foreparents. Guyana at the moment have an extremely good government relationship with India over the years, and it continues to be the same, and it continues to get stronger. Last year we had a new government after 23 years, and this new government again is forging strong relationship with India. Guyana also have many opportunities. India is a huge country. One of the things that India can do very well and will continue to do is to create human capacity. It is the soul and the foundation of billionaire economy. Guyana has room for any excess resources that you will have in India. At the moment, government is focusing heavily on energy, clean energy, like many other countries around the world. So if you have companies in India that are big in solar, windmill, hydro, come to Guyana. We have an open economy. We have an open market. We will welcome you with open arms. Like yourself, we're very strong in agriculture also, but we also need assistance in many areas. So if you have excess technology and resources here, Guyana is also a good place for you to come with your excess resources and work along with us. I'll share a very personal story that I personally, as a business person, experienced a couple of years ago. And my brother talks about e-commerce earlier. We need to be much stronger with e-commerce. E-commerce can benefit your economy significantly. I bought an asphalt plant which was manufactured in India in 2012. And the price I paid for it was extremely high. It was in excess of $200,000 US. 3 years down the line, I found the company in India that was selling that asphalt plant. It was manufactured right here. And that company was willing to sell me that same plant for $75,000. That tells a lot of story. We spoke earlier, some other speakers spoke earlier about third-party sale. We don't deal with the manufacturing side of the business. If your e-commerce was strong, then I would have dealt directly with that company, unlike going through 2-3 different other sellers. and paying almost 2 times the price for the same product. So I want to say how happy I am here today to be part of NRI. I will fly the flag of NRI high. We as Guyanese will continue to maintain Bharat Desh. We'll fly that flag high. And going back home, I'm going to take back almost everything that was said here and see how we can contribute in a more meaningful way going forward to be part of India and let India be part of us as Guyanese. I thank you.
Our conclave is not only about investing into India, it is also about investing into so many opportunities which our brothers and sisters can give us in all the parts of the world. As rightly Mr. Komal Singh said, he has tremendous potential in Guyana, in solar, in education. So it is basically brothers helping brothers, uniting to do some wonders all around the world. So our main objective is not only to get investments into India, but if our brothers and sisters have the potential to do businesses in other countries as well. Now I request Mr. Chawla. Mr. Chawla?
I am very thankful for this forum to give me time on speaking. First, I give my introduction. I am Harish Chawla. I have worked in the government for 32 years. Recently, I retired as the chairman of the Consumer Forum. Before that, I was secretary of the Gas Construction Board. But I am talking today not on this Sarkari, but I am talking on the Alzheimer. हमारी एक सोसाइटी है 1995 में मेरी मदर इन लॉ ने मेमोरी लॉस को सफ़र किया. माई वाइफ इज़ ए डॉक्टर. उस समय ये नहीं जानते थे कि इसका क्या किया जाए. हर जो डॉक्टर थे एक इंजेक्शन लगा देते थे और उनको सुला देते थे. हमारा क्लिनिक बंद. मैं जॉब करता था. मैं दिल्ली आ गया. 5 साल कभी कि मैंने छुट्टी ली, क्या किया, और माई वाइफ लेफ्ट दी जॉब और उन्हीं की सेवा की. उस सेवा करने के बाद उनकी डेथ हो गई, मौत हो गई. उसके बाद कुछ लोग जुड़े